Chris, I wanted to have you on the program tonight because we're looking into this whole internet tough guy phenomena. And, you have been with me for the whole duration of this something cool news journey I've been on. But I have to say, this past week was a first for me. And I don't know whether I should, be afraid or, really amused. Because I have this 14-year-old kid who is on the internet, who likes to hunt, shoots turkeys, and then videotapes them with their dead bodies, saying he wants to beat the shit out of me. Chris, do you think I should be worried about that?
Worried in the sense of your personal safety?
Well, yes.
No, I wouldn't worry too much about it. And speaking as someone who plays a lot of online games, internet tough guys are pretty frequent, and I have had hilarious times with many of them and have never suffered so much as a scratch.
Yeah,
or seen one of them. It invariably shrink as soon as you actually say, why, yes, here is my address, Google Earth me, here's the bus route to get to my house, blah, 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 I'll pay for the airfare, and then all of a sudden they're not talking to you anymore.
Well, I mean, but in fairness, Chris, none of the people you've spoken with, these tough guys, are crazy teenage kids with hunting rifles.
No, that's true. I never got quite the wealth of biographical detail on my particular exploits that you have with yours. I'd say yours is yours is almost a presidential timber. Yours is quite an enlightened individual.
Well,
what a surprise he's coming from Texas. Not that I want to make any broad sweeping generalizations about Texas, but I think I just did.
Well, I think he comes from Texas. He might not. Unfortunately, he's not real good at coherent discussion. Basically, all I've heard from him, for example, is, fuck you, bitch. America is the best country on this planet, so you can shut the fuck up, asshole. Yeah, I hunt, but I hunt free-range deer, turkey, and everything else that is here I live. Quit making stupid-ass videos about stupid-ass shit, asshole, and change your picture. You look like a fucking Down syndrome retard or something. This is the kind of guy I'm dealing with.
And that's so completely unfair. You do not look like a Down syndrome retard.
Thank you.
You look like James Wood.
Thank you.
We've covered this ground. You look like
Thank you.
A half-native James Wood with a mullet. I mean, there can be no question.
I agree with that completely. And this guy basically continued his tirade against me, suggesting that I need to do something better with my, quote, gay life. And then later just called me an asshole and said, if you didn't live in Canada, I would like to meet you one day and beat the fucking shit out of you. How do I respond to this without, breaking a law?
Without breaking a law? Well, I mean, technically he's the one who's breaking the law. I mean, that's uttering death threats. That is breaking the law. So, I mean, the way you defeat should you engage them with the intent of actually trying to, have some kind of actual victory as opposed to just pure hilarity? The way to beat them is just, give them as much detail. It's like, here's my address, here's Google Earth, you can see my house, and get a plane ticket, just save up your money, make a bunch of coonskin caps, or, sell all the various animals that you're so good at killing, and, get on a plane and get your ass over here.
So you don't think I should be very worried about this?
Oh, God, no. 14-year-old kid, please. What's he going to do?
So why are there so many of these internet tough guys? Like in this chat room right now, tonight, I've had someone in here called Asshat, who basically, his whole purpose is to kind of start trouble in the chat room and call people names and put people down and just kind of be the center of attention for the hour. Why are there so many people like this?
Well, I mean, you kind of hit the nail on the head when you said, be the center of attention. I think these are the same kind of. I mean, my personal hypothesis are these are the people who grow up to be like border guards, or any kind of position where they can have a tiny, minuscule amount of power to inconvenience people for a small amount of time and abuse it horrifically. It's like I think this is that. I think this is the precursor to those types of people. Are people who go on, who do internet tough guy stuff. And I mean, they're invariably people who have nothing valuable to say. And I think that's really where it is. I think they're so insecure about their own intelligence that, they have nothing to fall back on. And it's always, you never see them doing this kind of behavior with someone who's stupid and monosyllabic and not saying anything. They're always invariably backed into a corner by someone much more rational and eloquent than they are, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, well, I'm going to beat the crap out of you. And, to me that's always kind of, ding, 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 okay, now I can move on, you've just admitted that you're a complete failure, and that I'm superior in every way that's relevant to, the medium we're discussing. So,
Boy.
It was funny, actually. I was playing Counter-Strike today, and I had a very young, probably 13, 14-year-old boy who was going all internet tough guy with me. He said, where do you live? And I said, well, I live in Canada. He said, oh, I live really close to Canada. I live 1 mile away from Canada. And I said, well, the Canadian border is the longest country border in the world. It's like several thousand miles. So living 1 mile away from Canada, you could still be thousands of miles away from me. Where are you? And then all of a sudden he got really defensive and he wouldn't answer. And I was like, oh yeah, not so tough anymore, are you now? If you're in Bellingham, you're really close to me. As opposed to, if you're in Vermont, you're not.
Yeah.
But,
wow.
It's kind of funny because I knew that I'd be on the program tonight, and then I just happened to be playing Counter-Strike, and all of a sudden this kid with the name of, Frozen Boner, starts flipping off to me because I accidentally, totally intentionally team fragged him.
Wow. Well, you see, here's the thing. I mean, I don't really know. When you get, there's so many of them. I mean, can internet tough guys be defeated, or do we just have to put up with them? I mean, can we pass a law or something? I mean, how do we deal with this plague on cyberspace?
Well, I think the first thing to realize is there's this incredible temptation to kind of wallow in the clear superiority that you and I possess over these types of people. And I admit to having done a fair bit of wallowing myself. But eventually, once you get past all that, you realize that it is kind of pointless. And I think the main thing to remember is that it's almost like debating fundamentalist Christians, actually. Nothing you say or do is going to change the way they are. So you have to enter into the dialogue knowing that nothing formative is going to come out of it. There's not going to be any kind of progression whatsoever as a result of what you're saying. So once you have that in your mind, pretty much the only reason to go into it is for your own satisfaction.
Your own amusement, right?
Exactly. So it's like, just be sure that you're not going into it as some kind of noble crusader who also is incredibly, snobby and superior, trying to educate, the idiot from Texas. It's it's not going to happen. People have been trying to educate idiots from Texas for years, and all they end up doing is getting elected. So,
wow.
I think definitely you want to go into it with a really selfish attitude.
Wow.
Do I feel like mocking you and having a good time at your expense, or do I not feel like doing that?
Wow, Chris, you rock. It's true. It's true. That's actually a very good point. Okay, so you're saying then don't be worried about this rifle-toting 14-year-old who wants to, quote, beat the shit out of me. I should just
He doesn't want to shoot the shit out of you. If he said shoot the shit out of you, then it might be more of a worry. But he wants to beat the shit out of you. So unless he's doing it with the butt of his rifle, I wouldn't be too worried.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, you never know what's going to happen. I mean, I am going to be sending him, I sent him the article I wrote about him, and I'm going to be sending him this video interview as well. So he'll have the opportunity to really get his blood boiling now that he finds out we just mocked him. He may come after me. Then what do I do?
If he comes after you, he's not going to be bringing a firearm with him. So I'd just meet him with a bunch of your friends and,
Chris, I don't have any friends. What am I going to do?
I'd meet him with a bunch of the people who regularly beat the crap out of you, who will probably be quite incensed that some little troglodyte from, an outsider thinks that he's going to lay a hand on their personal punching bag. I would bet you wouldn't have to lift a finger. The Sue and all the other assorted mutants in that house of yours who drool on your ass on a regular basis would beat the crap out of this guy at a moment's notice just for having the temerity of thinking that he could just, waltz into the country and, pick on Fred. It's like, no, there's a definite pecking order. You have to earn the right to beat the crap out of Fred. So I don't think you would actually even need to raise your fist. Should
internet tough guys be legislated against or just killed?
Is this a question to me?
Yes.
Should they be legislated? Well, okay, I am always against unnecessary legislation.
Maybe it's not unnecessary, though.
But I'm always against legislation that is put into place where there are other means of solving the problem. So if
we should kill them.
Killing them is an option, then I'd go for just killing them.